Well, the words you said to him before he ran.
You got a lot of explaining to do. Well, I ain't gonna cuss on your show. I said, you got a lot of explaining to convince me that you didn't have nothing to do what they said you did.
Everybody saw that tough guy image Puffy tried to keep up behind bars, but it looks like that pressure might be cracking. Word on the street is that someone claiming to be his former cellmate says Diddy may have quietly worked out a deal with the feds, and the rumors don't stop there. People are saying federal prosecutors are even ready to testify about claims tied to the Tupac case, including talk that Snoop supposedly connected Keith D with money and weed. Now the wild part? Some whispers suggest Diddy could end up out of jail and on house arrest way sooner than anyone expected. But pause for a moment, because this is where the situation gets serious.
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander like they did once. I wouldn't say things that I knew. You know what I mean? I believe so. I have things that I can say clear. It's not for the world. You know what I mean? It's between me and those. So every time you say anything, you see what I said in the Bible. I basically bowed out.
Dwayne Keith D. Davis is currently the only person charged in connection with Tupac Shakur's 1996 killing. Authorities arrested him in September 2023, and after multiple delays, his trial is now scheduled for August 10, 2026. The case is moving forward in court, but the timeline is raising eyebrows. A new report claims Keith D's lawyer believes Diddy supporting this latest version of events could seriously strengthen his defense. So here's the play being talked about. If Diddy ever took the stand and pushed back hard against those old claims, that alone could shake up the defense strategy in a big way. It could give Keith D's legal team a chance to challenge the story that's been floating around for years. But hold up for a second. None of this means Diddy actually agreed to testify. There's no confirmed deal, no official announcement, nothing locked in. Right now, it's just a possibility being discussed behind the scenes. Still, even the idea of it has people across hip-hop buzzing like crazy. As many people already know, Keith D previously claimed in interviews and even in his memoir that Diddy allegedly offered money connected to Tupac during the Bad Boy versus Death Row era. That's what he said back then. Diddy has always denied any involvement in Tupac's death and has never been charged in that case. Now, Keith D's defense team is arguing those earlier statements may have been exaggerated, saying they were influenced by attention and money at the time. And here's where it gets tricky. When your own past words start showing up as evidence, the strategy often becomes attacking the credibility of those statements. One way to do that is bringing in the very people who are accused and having them deny everything under oath. At the same time, new court filings connected to the case reportedly mention Diddy's name multiple times. Social media users even claim the name shows up dozens of times in documents. Now, being mentioned in paperwork is not the same as being charged with anything. But when a name keeps popping up in a case that has shadowed hip-hop for nearly 30 years, people are definitely going to talk. And every time old history resurfaces, the noise around it gets even louder. Back in 1995, right after Tupac was shot at Quad Studios in New York, he spoke to Vibe magazine and made it clear he believed Diddy had something to do with setting him up. That moment lit a serious spark in the already heated tension building inside the hip-hop world. Then Suge Knight added even more drama to the story. He claimed that after Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, he confronted Diddy directly and told him, "You got some explaining to do." According to Suge, Diddy didn't stand there and argue. He says Diddy ran off instead. Diddy has denied those accusations from the start, and he still denies them today. Even Mopreme Shakur, Tupac's brother, once said that Diddy personally called him to deny having anything to do with Pac's death. So this tension between these camps didn't just appear overnight. It goes way back, filled with old grudges, real emotions, and years of accusations. And the situation gets even messier because Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has been claiming for years that Death Row Records played a role in what happened to both Tupac and Biggie. And this is where things start getting even more intense. Keith D's own old interviews are now popping back up everywhere, and some of those clips are hard to ignore. One of the biggest examples came from the Netflix docuseries Sean Combs' The Reckoning, where he openly talked about being in the car the night Tupac was shot. In that footage, he even pointed toward other people he claimed were involved in what happened. Now, prosecutors are expected to bring those past statements into court as evidence, but the defense is pushing back hard, arguing those old admissions were not true and shouldn't be trusted. At the same time, Tupac's family is not staying silent about all this. Reports say they have hired attorneys and private investigators to closely examine past claims, including stories about money allegedly being offered in connection with Tupac's death. If investigators ever uncover solid evidence linking anyone else to the case, that could completely shift the direction of everything. But if nothing new shows up, then the spotlight stays locked on Keith D and the case moves forward right there. Now, this is the point where social media starts mixing facts with rumors and the internet goes wild. Snoop Dogg's name has started trending again, and old Reddit threads are resurfacing with people debating what really happened back then. Some users are digging up old interviews and asking the same question all over again: who was actually in Las Vegas that night? Then Suge Knight reopened another old conversation when he claimed that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were jealous of Tupac's spotlight. According to Suge, that jealousy was one of the things that started breaking Death Row apart from the inside. What makes this story even darker is a claim that keeps circulating from back then. Some reports say that just days before Tupac was killed, he reportedly ended his friendship with Snoop because Snoop had been spending time around Biggie. That detail has followed the story for years, and when people hear it, they don't easily forget it. But one thing has to stay clear: Snoop Dogg has never been charged in Tupac's case, and no official court documents list him as a suspect. Right now, what we're really seeing is an old timeline reopening in court. And when that happens, a lot of old memories and accusations start getting pulled back into the spotlight.
Boy, Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brothers. You know, I know who you are, but we never met. And I just want to call you man to man, let you know that I ain't have nothing to do with your brother's death. Now, why was he calling me, reaching out?
People are now looking at the events of 1996 through a 2026 lens, and suddenly everything feels a little different. Old interviews, old stories, and old tensions are getting examined all over again. But suspicion alone isn't proof, and the legal case still points in one direction. As of now, Keith D remains the only person facing criminal charges connected to Tupac's death. Diddy's name keeps coming up mainly because of things Keith D said years ago, and because the defense may want those statements challenged in court. That's the key reason his name is being discussed. Still, the pressure around Diddy isn't disappearing anytime soon. He's already dealing with several civil lawsuits and federal investigations unrelated to the Tupac case. His legal situation is already complex. So if he ever did take the witness stand, that would be a massive moment. Testifying means speaking under oath, and once you're under oath, every single word carries serious legal weight. So the real question right now isn't did he do it? The bigger question is about strategy. Does Diddy step into a decades-old case and try to shut down those claims once and for all, or does he stay quiet and avoid walking straight into a courtroom storm? Because either move sends a loud message. If he speaks, the spotlight gets even brighter. If he stays silent, the rumors keep spinning. That's why this moment feels so huge in the hip-hop world. For nearly 30 years, Tupac's story has lived inside documentaries, books, interviews, and endless conspiracy debates online. But now the situation is different. This time it's not just talk. There's an actual trial, a real defendant, and real consequences on the line. And when something like that happens, the past doesn't stay buried. Every old interview, every old rivalry, and every headline from back in the day suddenly gets pulled right back into the spotlight again. And here's the part that has everyone watching closely. As the trial date gets closer, more attention is going to land on every detail tied to this case. Old interviews, past statements, and long-forgotten stories are all being pulled back into the spotlight again. For years, people debated what really happened in 1996, but now the courtroom could start separating rumor from reality. Lawyers on both sides are preparing for a fight that could reshape how this entire story is remembered. If witnesses take the stand and past claims are challenged under oath, the narrative people believe for decades might start shifting fast. Every testimony, every document, every statement could carry serious weight. One thing is clear though, when this trial finally begins, the whole world of hip-hop will be watching closely to see what really comes out in court. And the closer this trial gets, the louder the conversation becomes. Media outlets, podcasts, and hip-hop fans everywhere are digging through the past again, trying to connect dots that have been debated for nearly 3 decades. Every small update is turning into a headline.
Family of the late rapper Tupac Shakur has hired a team of investigators to look into what they say is a link between Sean Diddy Combs and the murder of the hip-hop star in 1996.
Every old clip is getting replayed online. People are analyzing body language, past interviews, and things artists said years ago like they're clues in a giant puzzle. But inside the courtroom, things work very differently. Judges and juries don't deal in rumors or internet theories. They deal with testimony, documents, and evidence presented under the law. So while the internet keeps speculating and debating every angle, the real answers, if they come at all, will come from what actually gets proven during the trial. At the end of the day, this trial could become one of the most talked about courtroom moments in hip-hop history. For decades, Tupac's death has lived in mystery, rumors, and endless debates across music culture. Now the spotlight is shifting from speculation to the courtroom. Lawyers will argue their sides, witnesses may step forward, and every detail will be examined under serious legal pressure. For many fans, this moment feels like a turning point. People want answers after all these years, and they want to understand what really happened during that chaotic time in the 90s. But trials can also raise new questions along the way. And as the process unfolds, every update, every testimony, and every ruling could reshape how this story is remembered for generations. But at the end of the day, the only thing that truly matters is what can actually be proven inside that courtroom. As dramatic as all of this feels, and honestly, it feels extremely dramatic, the final truth won't come from trending hashtags or viral posts online. It's going to come from sworn testimony and real legal evidence presented in front of a judge and jury. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on this. If Diddy is called to testify, should he step up and speak to clear the air once and for all? Or would walking into that courtroom just reopen old wounds from a rivalry that never fully healed? One thing is certain, though. This case is moving forward, the trial date is already set, and once it begins, the story won't belong to bloggers, podcasts, or fans anymore. It will belong to the court. And that's when we'll finally see which version of history actually survives. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who follows hip-hop history, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.